You're scrolling through Instagram. Everyone's posting vacation photos, new cars, nice restaurants. That friend from college just bought a house. Your coworker is showing off their Rolex. And you're sitting there thinking, am I the only one struggling here? Is everyone else just fine? Here's what nobody tells you. No, you're not the only one. In fact, you're probably closer to normal than all those people posting their highlight reels. Because the average American, they're broke. Not living modestly broke. Not being responsible with money broke. Actually, genuinely, one emergency away from disaster broke. And the statistics are so much worse than you think. Today, I'm going to show you the real financial picture of the average American. Not what people pretend on social media, not what the media tells you, the actual data. And some of this is going to make you uncomfortable. But here's the thing. Once you see where most people actually are, you'll realize two things. One, you're probably doing better than you think. And two, if you're not doing better, you now know exactly how serious the problem is. Let's get into it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Wealth Context. If you're new here, this is where we break down real financial data without the BS, without the hype, just the numbers that actually matter. Before we dive in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. It helps the algorithm show this to more people who need to see this reality check. All right, so I'm going to walk you through the most recent data from the Federal Reserve, the Census Bureau, and other credible sources. And look, I'm not doing this to make anyone feel bad. I'm doing this because most people have no idea where they actually stand. They think they're behind when they're actually ahead. Or worse, they think they're doing fine when they're actually in trouble. Context matters. That's literally the name of this channel. So let's start with the most shocking number, the savings crisis. Here's the stat that should terrify you. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median savings account balance in America is about $5,300. Median, meaning half of Americans have less than that. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's just savings accounts. People have money in other places, right? Investments, retirement accounts, real estate? Sure, some people do. But here's the next stat. 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. Let me say that again. 7 out of 10 people couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt or selling something. Not a $10,000 emergency, not a $5,000 emergency, $1,000. Your car breaks down and needs a $1,200 repair? Crisis. Your kid breaks their arm and the ER copay is $800? Crisis. Your water heater dies? Crisis. And here's what makes this even worse. This isn't just low-income people. This includes people making $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 a year. People with decent jobs. People who look like they have their life together. They're one unexpected expense away from financial chaos. Why this happens? Look, it's easy to judge. Just save more money. Just spend less. But here's the reality. Most people are operating in a system designed to extract every dollar they earn. You've got rent or mortgage eating 30 to 40% of income. In some cities, 50% plus. Student loans that never seem to go down. Car payments that are normal now. Health insurance premiums that keep rising. Childcare costs that rival rent. Inflation that makes groceries 30% more expensive than 3 years ago. So by the time you pay for survival, there's nothing left to save. And that's not a moral failing. That's math. But here's the uncomfortable part. Even people who could save aren't saving. Because spending is normalized. Debt is normalized. Living paycheck to paycheck is just what everyone does. The retirement disaster. All right, let's talk about retirement savings, because this is where it gets really ugly. The median retirement account balance for Americans aged 55 to 64, people who are about to retire, is $120,000. Now, using the 4% rule, that gives you $4,800 a year. That's $400 a month. $400 a month in retirement. That's not even covering rent in most places, let alone food, healthcare, utilities, transportation. And that's the median for people in their late 50s and early 60s. Half have less than that. A lot of people have zero. Here's the breakdown by age. Ages 35 to 44. Median retirement savings, $45,000. Ages 45 to 54. Median retirement savings, $90,000. Ages 55 to 64. Median retirement savings, $120,000. If you're 45 with $90,000 saved for retirement, you're exactly average. Congratulations! You're also probably not going to be able to retire at 65. The Social Security trap. Now, you might be thinking, but Social Security will help, right? Yeah, a little. The average Social Security benefit is about $1,900 a month. So if you've got $400 a month from your retirement account and $1,900 from Social Security, you're at $2,300 a month total. That's $27,600 a year. Can you live on that? In some places, maybe. If your house is paid off, if you're healthy, if nothing goes wrong. But here's the thing. Social Security was never designed to be your only source of retirement income. It was supposed to be a supplement. But for most Americans, it is their retirement plan. And that's a problem. The debt nightmare. Let's talk about debt. Because the average American isn't just broke, they're broke and in debt. Here are the numbers. Average credit card debt per household, $7,000 to $8,000 for households that carry a balance. Average student loan debt, $37,000 per borrower. Average car loan, $28,000 with an average monthly payment of $700 plus. Average mortgage, $240,000, but in high-cost areas, it's $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 plus. So let's add this up. If you're the average American with average debt, you've got $8,000 in credit card debt at 20% APR, $37,000 in student loans, $28,000 car loan, $240,000 mortgage. That's over $300,000 in total debt. And you're paying interest on all of it. Now, not everyone has all of these debts, but most people have at least 2 or 3, and the weight of it is crushing. The interest trap. Here's what kills me about this. People aren't just in debt, they're paying massive amounts of interest. If you're carrying $8,000 in credit card debt at 20% APR and only making minimum payments, you're paying about $1,600 a year in interest alone. That's money that's just gone. You're not buying anything with it. You're not building anything. You're just paying for the privilege of having been broke last year. And that's just credit cards. Add in student loans, car loans, mortgage interest, and the average American is paying $10,000 to $20,000 plus per year just in interest. That's not building wealth. That's burning money. The income reality. All right, let's talk about income, because everyone thinks they're underpaid, and honestly, most people are. The median household income in America is about $75,000. That sounds decent, right? But here's the thing. Median household income includes dual income households, so that's often two people working to bring in $75,000. If you break it down per person, the median individual income is closer to $40,000 to $45,000. $40,000 a year. That's $3,333 a month before taxes. After taxes, you're probably taking home around $2,800 to $3,000 a month. Now let's do the math on expenses. Rent or mortgage, $1,500, being conservative. Car payment, $500. Insurance, car, health, $400. Groceries, $400. Utilities, $150. Gas, $150. Phone, $80. That's $3,180, and we haven't even gotten to student loans, credit card payments, childcare, entertainment, savings, or anything else. You're already over budget, and that's assuming nothing goes wrong. This is why people can't save. This is why 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved. The math doesn't work. The net worth breakdown. Let's talk about net worth by age, because this is where you can actually see if you're ahead or behind. Under 35. Median net worth, $14,000. 35 to 44. Median net worth, $91,000. 45 to 54. Median net worth, $168,000. 55 to 64. Median net worth, $255,000. 65 plus. Median net worth, $280,000. Now, here's what's interesting about these numbers. If you're 35 with a net worth of $50,000, you're doing better than half of people your age. If you're 45 with $200,000, you're ahead of the median. But here's the uncomfortable question. Is that enough? If you're 55 with $255,000 in net worth, and $200,000 of that is home equity, you've got $55,000 in liquid assets. Using the 4% rule, that's $2,200 a year. That's $183 a month. You cannot retire on that. So yeah, you might be above average, but average is broke. The home ownership illusion. Here's something most people don't realize. Home ownership doesn't mean you're wealthy. The median home equity in America is about $200,000. That sounds like a lot, but here's the thing. You can't spend home equity. You live in it. Unless you sell your house and downsize, or take out a home equity loan, which is just more debt, that equity doesn't help you pay bills. It's locked up. And here's what's even more insane. 38% of homeowners aged 65 plus still have a mortgage. Let me say that again. 4 out of 10 people who are retirement age or older are still making mortgage payments. They didn't pay off the house. They refinanced it. They took out home equity loans. They bought bigger houses. And now they're 68 years old on Social Security, still sending $1,800 a month to the bank. That's not wealth. That's a trap. The comparison trap. Here's why all of this matters. Because when you see people on Instagram posting about their new BMW, their vacation in Bali, their designer clothes, you assume they have money. But here's the reality. Most of them are broke too. That BMW? Leased, or financed for 84 months at 7% interest. That vacation? Paid for with a credit card they're still paying off 6 months later. Those clothes? Buy now, pay later. The average American has $1.14 in debt for every $1 of income. They're not rich. They just look rich. And looking rich is expensive. So when you're sitting there feeling behind, remember, half of the people you're comparing yourself to are drowning in debt, have no savings, and are one layoff away from losing everything. You're not competing with their reality. You're competing with their Instagram feed. The good news. Yes, there is some. All right, look, I know this has been brutal, but here's the thing. If you're watching this video, you're already ahead of most people. Why? Because you're seeking out financial education. You're trying to understand where you stand. You're not ignoring the problem. Most people never look at these numbers. They just float through life hoping it works out. And it doesn't. But you're here, and that matters. Here's what you need to do. Step 1. Figure out where you actually are. Calculate your net worth. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Write it down. Step 2. Compare yourself to the median for your age. Are you ahead? Behind? By how much? Step 3. If you're behind, figure out why. Is it income? Is it debt? Is it spending? You can't fix a problem you don't understand. Step 4. Build a plan. You don't need to become a millionaire overnight. You just need to be better next year than you are this year. If you're 35 with $10,000 in net worth, your goal isn't $1 million next year. Your goal is $25,000, then $50,000, then $100,000. Progress compounds, but you have to start. The brutal truth. Here's the reality. Most Americans are not okay financially. They're stressed, they're behind, they're one emergency away from disaster. And the system is designed to keep them there. Easy credit, lifestyle inflation, social pressure to spend, a culture that worships consumption. But you don't have to be like most Americans. You can save when others spend. You can invest when others finance. You can build wealth while others build debt. The stats I showed you today, they're not your destiny. They're just the current reality for people who didn't have the information, the discipline, or the plan. You have the information now. The discipline and the plan? That's on you. Look, these numbers are uncomfortable, but they're real. And understanding where most people actually are gives you context for your own situation. If you're ahead of these medians, keep going. Don't get complacent. If you're behind, now you know how far you need to go. And if you're right at the median, remember, average is broke. Don't settle for average. If this video gave you the reality check you needed, smash that like button and subscribe to Wealth Context for more data-driven breakdowns. And drop a comment. Let me know where you stand compared to these numbers. Are you ahead? Behind? Right at the median? Because 10 years from now, you're either going to look back and be glad you faced the truth today, or you're going to still be average, still broke, still stressed. Don't be that person. I'll see you in the next one.